Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. In this video, we're going to be looking at some different coins in my pre-decimal album. So, without further ado, let's get into them. So, we're going to be looking at this portion of the album today. We're going to be looking at my penny date run, so yeah, a bit of a different video, but I'm going to explain some varieties that you can find on the pennies while we're doing this. So, I'm going to be taking them out and then I'm going to put them back in, but obviously I'm going to show you the coin before I put it back in. So this date run goes from 1902 to 1922, I believe. So here's our first bomb. There we go, we've got Edward VII's portrait there. It's a 1902 penny. This penny, as you can see, it's not in the greatest condition. Now, there is a variety on this penny to look for, so I'm going to get my trusty pointer. So, on the 1902 penny, you can have high tide or low tide. This is a high tide variety. The high tide variety is the most common one that you can find, but the low tide variety is worth a lot more. Even in this condition, a low tide variety can be worth up to £20, so pretty good for an old penny, right? So that's the first one. It's not in bad condition actually, that one. Right, this one's from 1903. Now, again on the 1903 there is a variety to look for. You can have the open free or the closed free. So, this is a open free variety. So, if we look at it, you can see that the free curves at the top. Now if you have a free and it's going across like that, then that is a closed free, and that one is going to be worth a lot. That one's probably going to be worth about £60 even in that condition. So again, quite a nice investment for a very common coin. Right, next we have 1904. I believe there's no varieties to look for on this one. On the 1905s, I believe you can get a larger zero, but I don't think this one has one. Yeah, this is quite big, this one, so I think you can get a larger or a smaller zero on these coins. This one's in very good condition actually. For 1905, it's not a scarce year, but I'd say in this condition you can get up to £3 for this. Most of these Edward pennies are only going to be worth about £1 or less, because some of them are very, very common dates and years. This coin appeared in one of my first ever videos. This is a 1906 Edward penny. If you remember, we made the upgrade on this coin in that video. So yeah, this one's been in my collection for a while. But yeah, there's no varieties to look for on this coin. Yeah, very nice. It's nice to have a little date run, I think. Alright, this one's from 1907. There's no varieties to look for in 1907. I believe there's no varieties to look for in 1908 as well. I know there's one on the 1909. So, on the 1909, you can get a dot penny. So, on the 1909, sometimes you can get a dot between the O and the N, so it might be around here. And again, in this condition, that's quite a valuable coin, maybe £20 in this condition if you can find one of those dot pennies. The dot penny is caused by a little bit of metal that's seeped out of the die, and it's made a small blob on the surface of the coin, and it's known as a dot penny. So pretty interesting variety to look for. Right, now we're coming to the end of Edward VII's coins. So this one is from 1910. This was the last year of the Edward VII coins. So he died in 1910, and then he passed the throne over to our next monarch, which is George V. So, George V came onto British coinage in 1911. There were no George V coins made in 1910. But yeah, it was the first year that he came onto British coins. Now, with the 1911 penny, you can get a very, very, very rare error. So you can get this coin known as a Gobi X, or the hollow neck penny. So I believe there has to be a hollow around here. There isn't on this one, unfortunately. I think this is just a common one, and one that's not worth anything. But yeah, Gobi X is quite a nice error to find, and that's going to be worth about £50 in this condition. By the way, I don't have any of these varieties. I think the only variety I have is the 1919 KN penny. That's worth about £20 in the condition that I've got it in. Right, this is quite a nice condition one actually. This one's quite detailed. It's from 1912, and you might notice there's a little H there. Now, the H stands for the Heaton Works. So the Royal Mint asked Ralph Heaton and Sons in Birmingham, they asked them to help out with the minting and striking of British pennies. So some were made at Tower Hill in London. They have no H mint mark. Some were made in Birmingham at Ralph Heaton and Sons. Those have the H mint mark. And actually the London ones are rarer. So if you find a 1912 without a H mint mark, it's not extremely rare, but it's worth more than the 1912H. This one's from 1913, again quite a nice condition coin. There's no varieties to look for in the 1913. Still very, very nice coin to find. This one's from 1915. Now there is a, oh actually sorry, this one's from 1914. So this one, again, very nice condition. It's the first year of the First World War, so it's quite a special coin. Very nice condition. You can see quite clearly there's a BM initial, so that stands for Bertram McKennell. That was the designer of George V's portrait. So yeah, quite clear. Bertram McKennell. I don't have many George V pennies that have BM on them. It's quite rare to find the BM on the pennies because usually it's quite worn in that area. Still very, very nice to find and have. Yeah, a lot of these pennies came from one of my friends. I think one of my teachers gave me a load of pennies, and yeah, I got these ones. This one's from 1915. This is a variety penny. So on the 1915s, you can get a broken tooth error. I don't think our one has one, but you can get a broken tooth around this area here. And let me just put it under my own eyes for closer examination, but I don't think we got a broken tooth error. We don't have one. And also it indicates that the coin will have a recessed ear. So yeah, that's quite interesting, but unfortunately we don't have one there. In that condition, the 1915 ones are rarer. So if I had a recessed ear 1915 penny in that condition, it's probably going to be worth around £15. You can get the same error on the 1916 penny, but it's more common than the 1915. I don't think we got one here either. Nah, just a common normal one. Still nice date to have, First World War. On the 1917s, there's nothing to look for, so that one's just a normal 1917 penny. Still quite nice condition on that one. Alright, on the 1918s, you can get a load of varieties. So One of them's the 1918 London Mint, which this one is. This one was made at Tower Hill. Yeah, so that's just the normal one. But I have another one. It's not in the best condition, sadly. This one suffered from PVC damage, unfortunately. But this one's a KN 1918, so you could get the 1918 London Strike, the 1980 Ralph Eaton & Sons Strike, and then the 1918 Kings Norton Mint Strike. So this one is a Kings Norton. These ones are lower minted than the London Mint, but the 1919 KN's the key date to look for on the KNs. And yeah, like I say, I do have one of them, and it's in pretty good condition as well, so it'll be worth about 20 quid. I'll get it out if we have time at the end of the video, and I'll show it to you. Right, this one is from 1919. This is just a normal 1919. That's just a normal London Strike. For some reason I'm missing a 1920, so we've got a 1921 here. Again, nice condition, nothing to look for on that one. And then we have the last one, which is from 1922. I didn't have enough space on this page, so I've had to fit it up here with some of my other coins. Let me just get this out the way, and I'll bring this one out for us to have a look at, and then I'll show you that 19 KN penny because we have time. So 1922. I believe there is a variety to look for on this coin. I believe you can get the small colon or large colon. The large colon's the one that you want, but yeah, we don't have that, so I'm not gonna ramble on about that. So let's look at that 1919 KN penny. Now the 1919 KN penny is in my George V set, so it's in the front of my album. So I'll just get it out. Right, here it is. So this is a 1919 KN penny. Like I say, it's in decent condition. You can see there's a small KN initials just down there. But yeah, in this condition, that's going to be worth about £20 because it's quite a scarce variety. Very nice. That one was also from the teacher. They didn't know that they were rare, and I actually told them that these coins probably are going to be worth a little bit. But, you know, she said, no, you can just have them. So yeah, that's where all these pennies came from. So that concludes today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed seeing my penny date run. Bit of a different video for you guys. Like, it's not something that we normally do, looking at older date runs. We usually look at newer date runs, but interesting. So go and check my other videos out, guys, and if you enjoyed those videos and you want to see more content, please consider subscribing to my channel, and yeah, stay around for future videos. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time for more coins.